You know, I make videos about my journey, and this is my niece trying to get something in my ear. I make videos about my journey. Let me finish, sweetie. She's trying to get up there. Say greetings right quick. Hey.
Hello.
So, she don't speak any English either. That's probably all you know, right? Uh-huh. And in any case, I was trying to figure out. No, no, I need you guys to go play. Okay, go ahead, go play. Take our son with you. I got my son here, and you know, I'm a busy family man, and like you know, I've always been a family man. Um, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to have family. I was just watching a couple things, and they were talking about BET and all the corruption there, and how the black family. A brother was saying his name is Holcomb, Corey Holcomb, I think, and he was saying how the black family is pretty much is done. It's done in America. But I was sitting back and I was thinking, I was like, I know YouTube is largely for entertainment and buffoonery. I need you take gel key nigga Yasin. Joking nigga. Wow.
Yasin my indigo.
Indigo feed. Okay. So, I was trying to figure out. You can't figure out our people because we don't make any sense. So you really can't figure them out. You really can't understand them because of our intelligence level. If you're an intelligent person, that's why people can't figure out what's going on. A lot of people are saying, "What's going on? What's going on?" So the reason why I got up here, I was reading this article that talks about how 54% of Americans read below a sixth grade level. So you have a large number of our people who are reading and comprehending on an 11th grade level. And the interesting thing about this, so a lot of people are saying, "What's going on? What's going on in Gambia? What's going on in Gambia?" And I'm like, Dad, you guys can't figure it out by now. You can't figure it out by now. Everything gotta be spelled out for you. And then when things are told to you, you don't want to accept that. And then I'm like, okay, we're talking to a bunch of children. More than half of the people are like children. And this, so, I'm talking to the intelligent people now because some intelligent people out there looking, but YouTube, uh, YouTube is not the place for any as far as YouTube and the repack community, because there's a lot of great channels out there. There's a lot of great repack channels out there. However, for the large part, we see that there is a lot of problems. Yes, I have WhatsApp. Hey, listen, listen. 27. Stay out the camera. Stay out the camera. 27 025 87 27. It's 2787 025. If you need to hit me up on WhatsApp, my name is QuasyBoyd@yahoo.com. I created a bio because I wanted people to have an opportunity to see who I am, what I've done here in the Gambia, what I've done before I came to the Gambia. Because people, you just don't know if you don't have all of that information in one place. In any case, you got to know who you're dealing with. And as far as our community is concerned, half of our community, it's very disappointing. That's why I go on a lot of these shows. I won't be doing anymore. And the people just don't have the ability to comprehend basic ideas and concepts and critical thinking concepts. It's all based on what he said, she said, and at the same time, we have people who are, law enforcement and people who are trained in these things to handle these situations. And when they handle them, we got to go with that. Our community. When I was reading this report here, it was saying that, and you can just go ahead and look it up. There's tons of information on it, and it says it's not just people who are poor, okay, or racial minorities, or speak funny from the South. It could literally be anybody, okay. So a lot of these people that you're seeing out there, and a fool makes sense to another fool. A fool make complete sense to the next fool that's listening to them. And then when you hear something that makes sense amongst those fools, it sounds crazy. But in thinking, they say in certain areas, certain demographics, that you have more or higher levels of illiteracy. You have higher levels. So of course, in minority communities, especially, you got to understand that for generations, we were locked out of education. We were locked out of education. We weren't allowed to learn anything. We weren't allowed to read. We weren't allowed to write. We weren't allowed to congregate in any way that would benefit ourselves for centuries as slaves. Now everyone want to come on YouTube and be a YouTube, an analyst, commentator. If the people are not in this country, they don't know what's going on. So our people are dealing. When you're dealing with our people and you're listening to them out there and you're seeing all of these comments, you remember half of these people are on a like an 11-year-old child. Okay, a sixth grader. That's how they're reading. That's how they're comprehending. That's how they see the world. That's how they do things, and they're clouding the movement with their childish behavior at these later stages in life when they're entering into a year where they should be at the highest level of integrity, at the highest level of nobility and respect, especially in the movement that represent that. I remember reading Stolen Legacy a long time ago. I read and it talks about the ancient Kemetic Egyptian mystery school system, and it talked about us in our glory, how we used to play in the sand. We used to play trigonometry. We used to play algebra in the sand, using precious metals and using, precious stones. And we didn't see those things in the way that they're used here. You understand? I read the book, Destruction of the Black Civilization. And one of the greatest quotes that came out of that book for me is when Chancellor William, he shares, a man cannot reach full manhood without racial worth and identity. My few people that I have up right now, I just kind of jump on here. It's better for me to do it this way than to record and upload videos. I'm going to go into YouTube, and I'm going to post the link to my bio, right? And I'm going to add some more in there, some more pictures and stuff of the training that I've been doing mostly. I have tons of pictures. We had a internet cafe here years ago. We had an internet cafe here years ago, and we had quite a few people come through there. So I'm somebody that have trained and worked with Gambians here. Okay, I'm adding that there for when people do get around to it and come around and see things. But we're talking about the emotional. We're talking about the IQ, and then we're going to look at emotional intelligence. So we're talking about literacy amongst our people, and what we're seeing and trying to understand. And then most of us who are people, or who are intelligent people, know that we're dealing with people who are largely, miseducated. All of that, being brought into a whole nother market is creating a problem for repats. Of course, we see a lot of turmoil in the market. A lot of this was created by people who weren't in the country through YouTube. So YouTube do not take YouTube serious at all. Unless you are an intelligent person, then you'll be able to make your way to where you need to be in this movement and avoid all of the other, childish behavior that's coming from the people that are here and the people that are not here, who want to bring their misfortune onto the whole movement. There's a law of power, avoid unlucky, unhappy people. It's contagious. We say misery loves company, and that's what we're seeing. We see a lot of misery getting more attention than it. It's a lot going on. There's a lot going on, even with the and I'll speak about how people embrace and they accept wrong from people coming because they think they can get something out of them. So people are being exploited because there's other people that are around that are kissing up to them, wanting to, use them for one thing or another. And we've seen a lot of that, and it's something that, as a community, that need to be talked about. And we need to talk about these things so we can bring awareness and bring consciousness to what it is that we need to do in order to, be safe. Now it's at the level of safety. It ain't even at the level of repatriating successfully. It's not now. It's like, now, how can we be safe? We've seen the arrival. They're packing up and going because of safety concerns, and because of the lack of support here on the ground. Right now I'm about to move, and before I met many people came into my compound. I used to allow a lot of people, you know, to come, but not anymore. No one's coming to where my family is. You know, these people, they try to get in your life. They try to find out as much as they can about you, right or wrong. And you could be doing the most. You could be doing, and then they'll come, and they, out of jealousy, they'll just try make up things, ruin things for everybody. Okay, so with this literacy thing, and we're having 54% of Americans who are reading and comprehending on a sixth grade level, explains to us why we see this madness within the rebat community. It's all childish. Then that brings us to emotional intelligence. Okay, so self-awareness, all right? It's 5 qualities of emotional intelligence. We got to look at the emotional intelligence, and then we'll be able to see that it's not at a level that's going to cause successful repatriation. So with emotional intelligence, the first quality that you're going to look at or see is self-awareness. This step in attaining a higher level of emotional intelligence is understanding and knowing oneself. So as a community, we don't have that self-awareness. As a community, we don't know who we are, so we don't know our place amongst other civilized nations of the world. And I can't even say that we're a civilized nation. We're not even a nation amongst other people of the world, and that's why people of the world don't respect us, because we don't have our own nation as black, the so-called African Americans, or whatever we want to, whatever they tell us we are. We don't know who we are, so we lost our culture. We were brought here, we were robbed of our names. We lost our religion, our culture, our God, and many of us, by the way that we act, we even lost our mind. That brother, God rest his soul, Khalid Muhammad. Self-regulation. That's the second quality of emotional intelligence. Involves discipline and self-regulation. We know that we are not a people who regulate ourselves. We allow, our whole community to spin out of control, and it's out of the hand of any individual. In fact, it has been high level of government conspiracy to break down the black family and to attack the black family. This is no one's fault. It's something that we have to deal with. I was on with Dinah Samir, man, and I haven't really been going on, but I've been going on recently because I have to come out and I have to make a contribution. But even after I decided years ago that I would no longer speak to any great lengths about our plight, because my journey now is about talking about what we're gonna do once we found love. Once we found our place, what are we going to do with it? Now that we found love, what are we going to do with it? Heavy D. Now that we're in Gambia and Gambia is showing us love, what are we going to do with it? So in terms of the emotional intelligence, we have to look at that. We've already established that more than half of the people that are in and around us and maybe even a greater number are operating like 11-year-olds. It's below 11 years old. I was gonna say 12, but 10-year-olds and 9-year-olds. Now this is a statistic. You can go ahead and you can search it. And most Americans are reading and operating and comprehending, 54% under a sixth grade level. Understanding pops up. A lot of times, I won't put myself in these positions. Certain people, Mason, they won't speak to you unless you have a certain level of knowledge because it's a waste of time. So the first one is self-awareness. Second is self-regulation. The third is empathy. And we see that there's a lack of empathy in our community. An extreme lack of empathy. No one cares about the next man, about, what's going on with them, their feeling, it is all about me, I. And that's what we see. We're seeing very low level of emotional intelligence, in our community, which is going to be inherent with people who are operating on, less than a sixth grade level. People who are operating like 11-year-olds and 10 years old. So that's why, you see a lot of people, and I'm not, banging nobody over the head with their lifestyle and what they do. That's why you see a lot of people still talking about boyfriend and girlfriend later stages in life where they should be talking about husband or it should be husband, but my man, I have a man. You understand what I'm saying? That's hard language for people to adopt to and talk to because it's a lot of stigmatism towards man and submission, a whole dynamic and concept that has eroded our community to nothing. Y'all see the BET Awards? Y'all seen Little Kim? Come on now. Little Kim used to be the baddest thing. She ain't had to do nothing. People calling her, saying she looked like this troll that was coming down, and her how her hips was, it did look like the troll because they wear those baggy pants. You understand what I'm saying? But she didn't, have to do that to herself. But it's the mental genocide and the assimilation into a culture that don't express our beauty. God, people, God comes from the Greek or the Latin. So somebody let me know in the comment because I know we got a lot of critiquers out there. But Gumar Az Dubar. This is when they came over, the Greeks, when they came over into Egypt, that's a name that they gave the black men and women. When you start to read your history, it's all there in the books. You got to do a deep dive, though. It's a lot of information. Gumar Az Dubar means wisdom, beauty, and strength. That's not a word that represents the Most High. It has been, there's other words that represents the Most High. God represents master. Michael Jordan is a god of basketball. You have gods in music. You have gods in arts. God does not represent Jehovah, the Most High, Allah. So anyway, we lack empathy for self, empathy for others, motivation. We are people that produce nothing. So you can't. We talk about educational accomplishments in the West and how our black sisters, have all of these educational accomplishments. But do anybody realize that's the white man's educational system? The boast on that, and then you look at the depth of our community, it only proves that no accomplishment or nothing within that system represents the basic unit of civilization, which is the family. You go to the university, but you don't learn about the universe. You learn about a universe that's contrary to the universe of nature, and that's a universe of unnatural existence, unnatural laws that we live by, and we call pop culture. Social skills. I don't even have to, if you look up emotional intelligence and you look at the 5 qualities, you're going to see self-awareness, which is lacking in our community. You're going to see self-regulation. which is lacking in our community, empathy, which is lacking in our community, motivation, which is lacking in our community. People, there's been many, and there's every day there's an opportunity for anyone to make the right call and say, hey, let's get together and show unity and solidarity. Okay, I've tried that many times. People don't respect me because I don't have as many YouTube followers as they have. So people might be in this type of mindset. People don't think that I'm an important person, and that I'm nothing. You understand what I'm saying here? However, everybody's saying, Kwesi, what's the solution? Kwesi, what we need to do? They making videos. I told you so. Things that I told you guys about, 2 years ago, all of that stuff manifesting. Everybody, we have being that we speak at a childish level, we operate at a childish level. Most of the people that come over support the childishness. However, we don't need childish leadership leading us into a situation where people are losing, people have lost. So I wanted to get up. I wanted to speak with you guys a little bit on this idea of emotional intelligence, and I'm going to do that more, as I see certain ideas and things come across the table. However, this one, in closing, we are dealing with the idea of our literacy, and how there's a study that was done, studies that have done that shows that the average American, 130 million American adults have low literacy skills. I'll go ahead and post this inside the chat as well, and you guys can take a look at that. So that brings us and gives us a lot of understanding of why people can't comprehend basic concepts. And they're always saying, hey, I don't understand. You can tell them something right to their face, tell them exactly what the problem is, but they can't comprehend it. They can't comprehend it. And these are the people that my boy used to say, you can't beat a dead horse. You can't beat a dead horse. You guys check me out. Go Hard Gambia. Join my Patreon account. Once you guys go through and check out my bio, you'll see at the bottom, and I'm going to add some more there. I'm going to add more videos to my Patreon account, talking how my life is so good here. That's why I have so many haters. My life is so great here. People came around. They wanted what I wanted so bad, and they couldn't produce it. They couldn't do it, and they hate them to this day because they see me still thriving. My family is thriving here. My children, I'm blessed. I'm not in anything for material. I'm living on borrowed time. I made it out of America. I'm going to do a video later today with my cousin Ray coming home after 29 plus years. My cousin Riz coming home after 25 years. My nephew who just came home, less than a week ago from being incarcerated 18 years. We have issues in our communities, our communities and generations have been destroyed. I'm an 80s, I was born before the 80s. I was born in the 70s. I came up through the 80s. I seen it. I seen the horrors in our communities. You understand? I see what people were trying to escape from and trying to come to Africa for something different. Anybody coming now, we know we can't mix up with the other ones. Half of them, but it's more than half of them. It's more like 80%. The 20% is here. They're here. Integrating, working with the locals. There's a lot of people here, and being successful and do that. Congratulations on your journey. May you continue to be blessed. Peace.